Ladies and most gentlemen, today we're going to do more exploration and speculation on patch 7.3.5 of Legion. But first, let's cast your minds back to patch 7.3 and the addition of Argus. With this patch, Blizzard added a ton of new pets and mounts to the game. One of these is called Uuna, which is not a battle pet, more of a traditional companion pet of old. She's a little dead Draenei girl and works similar to an Argent Squire, for example. The way to obtain her is through an item called Uuna's Doll. This is dropped by the many-faced Devourer in the Antoran Wastes in Argus, at around a 6% drop chance. So it's not that common at all. The other thing with the many-faced Devourer is that you need to summon it. This is done by first looting Call of the Devourer, which drops from mobs across the Scavenger's Boneyard, which is around this area I've highlighted on the map here. Once you have that, you need to find 3 different bones, which are also spawned around the Antoran Wastes in these areas I've marked on the map. Then when you have all of that, you can summon the rare mob and try your luck at looting Uuna's Doll. So as I said, this has been in the game since 7.3. So with patch 7.3.5, the guys at Wowhead managed to data mine a ton of new dialogue for something called Uuna's Challenge, on a map called A Dark Place. This map actually has a bit of an interesting history, as it wasn't actually new in patch 7.3.5. The map ID that this map uses is 930. This has actually been in the game since the Cataclysm beta, but not in the state that you'll see it in 7.3.5. It actually started off its life as a map called Scenario Alcaz Island, and it looked like this. It's actually an exact copy of Alcaz Island from Dustswallow Marsh, but it contains a lot of interesting Twilight Hammer game objects around the island, which is something which actually never made it into the live game, and never really had an explanation on why it existed. But since 7.3.5, the map now looks like this, and has been renamed to A Dark Place, but its internal name is still Scenario Alcaz Island in the game files, but I probably wouldn't look too much into that. This map currently uses the unused Ashara Crater loading screen, and the area itself is pretty basic. A round circular area with a few trees scattered around and smoke surrounding the circle. In the middle there's an open area with purple on the floor, which could obviously mean this scenario could possibly have something to do with the Void. Also, just to add, I think the music currently in this zone is the Karazhan music. I don't know if it'll actually get its own music eventually, but I gotta admit it works very well with the vibe of this zone. So now onto the scenario itself. On the 3rd of December, Jeremy Fiesel, a senior game designer at Blizzard, tweeted saying, "You should find Uuna before it's too late in my opinion," which someone replied saying they'd found her, and he replied saying, "Hold her tight, you never know what darkness she sees." So that was all very cryptic, but looking at the dialogue text, it looks like you'd be helping Uuna in potentially a new solo scenario similar to the death of Chromie. From just looking at the dialogue text, it's really hard to understand what's going to happen in this scenario. This is the challenge text here. "Uuna, have you seen her? I've heard the cries of the child you speak of. I shall mark you that you could pass into the realm and seek her out. She resides in a place where the barrier between the realms of life and death are thin, and spill over into your world. Be warned, you have no power in this place. Its denizens cannot be harmed by mortals." So my best guess is that you go into limbo with Uuna and you have to fight your way out of it. But from the looks of it, you may have to kill the creatures in the scenario with some other method that isn't your weapons or spells, judging by this line at the end of the challenge text. "Be warned, you have no power in this place, and its denizens cannot be harmed by mortals." So potentially it could be like a Crash Bandicoot boss where the NPCs run into trees or something like that. I honestly have no idea, but it definitely sounds very interesting. A name which is mentioned by Uuna several times in the dialogue text is Nu. Now from a simple search, I couldn't find any NPCs with that name. The only one that came close is Nanu, who is a blacksmith on Croccoon. It could be related or just a coincidence. So Wowhead also go to say that once you manage to get Uuna out of limbo and head towards the light, she goes on a tour of Azeroth, including the wall in Pandaria, Dalaran, and she even goes to see the Draenei culture alive and well, and there's a ton of dialogue to do with her exploring these areas. I would imagine that you'd have to protect her while she visits these places, as the last 2 lines of text are related to Uuna being swallowed up by the darkness once again. Overall, it seems like a really interesting concept, and I'm sure we'll find out all the details in the coming days or weeks, and I'm sure as hell Bellylar will be throwing together a fantastic video all about how to do it. So that's pretty much all I've got for the Uuna scenario. Patch 7.3.5 actually drops this week, and it'll be interesting to see if and when this content will be added to the game. And if it already has when I've made this video, how is it? So let me know down in the comment section what your thoughts are on all of this, and if you have any theories on how this all goes down. I'd love to know what you guys think. So before I go, I'd like to give a massive shout out to our amazing patrons and YouTube sponsors. You guys are awesome. And if you'd like to support the channel in that way, links are down below. So leave a like on this video if you liked the video and subscribe if you haven't. I also have a Discord channel, link is in the description. And with that, I'll see you next time.